What is up, everybody? It's your girl Jada Reese here, aka Diamond, back with another video, and today is going to be a reading vlog. But first, if this is your first time seeing my face or knowing of my existence, my name is Diamond. I go by Jada Reese on this channel, and over here I like to do reading vlogs, book reviews, and everything in between. So if that is something that you're interested in, I think you should consider subscribing. Okay, so hey girl, hey guy, hey. I decided that I wanted to start a reading vlog today. So first things first, what are we reading right now? So we are reading book 2. So this will mainly be book 2 in the book 2 in the Magnolia Parks universe. This is the Daisy Haites book. It's just called Daisy Haites. First book was called Magnolia Parks. Second book is called Daisy Haites. So we're reading Daisy Haites, and I've gotten quite a bit in. So right now we are following a character who we have met. Her name is Daisy Haites. She is actually introduced in Magnolia Parks as the love interest of Christian Hymns, who is BJ's best friend in Magnolia Parks. BJ is Magnolia's on again, off again love flame, twin flame, whatever you want to call them. But also Christian Hymns in Magnolia Parks dated a little while as well, even though Christian and BJ are best friends. So we meet Daisy in Magnolia Parks when Magnolia and her sister Bridget are in a restaurant, and they see out of nowhere Christian in the corner, and he is with Daisy, and that is when Daisy is first introduced. And so now she has her own book. So Daisy Haites is a super smart 20-year-old. She's like the youngest in the crew. She's really not in their crew, but she's like in that circle of that world. She is 20 years old. She is in medical school to be a doctor, and her and Christian are described as just two people who are hooking up. There's no name to what they are, and they don't yell, they don't fight, they don't argue, and they don't get jealous. And she's from a notorious crime family. And so her parents did not raise her. Well, her parents raised her up until she was 9 years old, and they were tragically murdered on the beach in front of her. So there's a lot of like flashbacks and like innuendo regarding why she is the way that she is, because of what she saw when she was younger. And from the age of 9 up until now, she was raised by her brother Julian Haites. Julian Haites is a gang lord in London. And yeah, we're getting the POV of Daisy, we're getting the POV of Christian, and we're getting the POV of Julian. I've since made, before starting this video, a short about how I'm not really into this book. Now, here's the thing. The thing to really like about the Magnolia Parks books are that they are very messy and drama filled. That is something that you have to make sure that you understand going into this. I feel like Jessica Haites. I feel like Jessa Hastings writes pretty well, if you ask me. I mean, are there grammatical errors? Yes. Probably comma splices and some more, but you're so engulfed in the drama that you really don't give a damn. Like I said in the last video, it's just a book where you're just able to like let your mind free and just enjoy the back and forth of all of these people in this group. See where the love takes you, see where the heartbreak takes you. It's just a fun book. I really care about what's gonna happen next based off of soap opera-ish type of vibes. But still, I can't help but critique Daisy Haites in the way that it seems like a follow-up to a smash hit where she kind of drops the ball. So I'm gonna keep going because the comments, I also posted this video on TikTok. It didn't get a lot of views, but I got some comments, and they're just like, yeah, Daisy Haites book 2 does fall a little bit flat, but you want to continue on reading it to figure out what's going on with Daisy and Christian, and to really get the point of view of Julian, because in book 3, which is Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, In this book, you're gonna get a lot of Magnolia and Julian. So of course I'm gonna continue reading the book, just to see where it takes me. Duh. So anyway, yeah, I still like it. Of course, following the story, the narrative now, you already understanding that Julian is not really an overprotective brother. He cares about his sister, but he lets her be free, which is interesting. Parts that I also wasn't really into were some of the conversations between Julian and Christian, or Declan, somebody else who Daisy sleeps with. It's just thrown around so freely and so loosely, Daisy's love life in the mix of all of these guys, and I don't really like that. But then again, it's just like, well, I have to think. I have been around, in my younger days, I've been around people who are very open about their sexual lives with their siblings before, so it's not like something that's just like completely should be written off. But I don't know, it's kind of, it kind of just rubs me the wrong way reading it. But it was only a few pages of that, and then we just will move on. And also Christian is just a little too outspoken as it relates to what him and Daisy has going on in the midst of her brother. I just feel like it should have been some sort of like respect level when it comes to that. Or if Christian was to get like a smart mouth in front of Julian, I feel like Julian should have punched him in the mouth. You know, stuff like that I feel like should have happened. But hey, the British are the British. I don't know. But anyways, Daisy is of course letting us know faster than Christian that she is feeling Christian in a more romantic way. We can tell by her conversations that she's having with us, and just what's going on in her mind, that she really, really likes him, even though there's someone from her past who's creeping back up named Romeo, who clearly wants to be with her. Their mess and drama is very reminiscent of BJ and Magnolia's mess and drama. Romeo is described as, I think, an Italian mixed with Italian. That's like an African mixed with a white person. And Magnolia is black mixed with white as well. So I kind of really enjoyed those aspects, that like at least Jessica decided to throw in a little bit of color, a little bit of mixture in this whole little thing, which is just like, okay. But the climate that we're in, some of the crazy folks on TikTok probably would have mentioned if it not another white romance, right? But anyway, yeah. So I do like that she does that, or adds those little aspects in there, that they're not just white British people. So I enjoy that. And I enjoy, what else do I enjoy? I don't know. I just enjoy the messiness of the novel. But anyway, Christian is kind of being young and stupid, and he's not realizing quite yet that he also is falling in love with Daisy, which makes it fun and interesting and makes you want to keep reading. So, there's those parts in there. There's no other tropes that I've really just seen, except for them becoming, I guess, friends to lovers, but they're already lovers, so I guess lovers to boyfriend and girlfriend possibly, I don't know. But other than that, I don't really see any tropes like truly present in this novel like you saw right off the bat in Magnolia Parks. There was fake dating, love triangle type of situation that was introduced, and it was just like immediately right off the bat you were hooked. I'm not really hooked to Daisy Haites, but I still like the drama. So anyway, so that's all that's going on there, and you're still just getting the POV of all three of them. All we're following with Julian is the type of crime that he's into, and if you look at the indie covers of Daisy Haites, you see the Italian flag, you see guns, you see portrait picture frames. That's kind of like what we're going to be following with Julian. Like, he does a lot of crazy shit. And yeah, that's all that I can kind of see there. There's also a little, oh, my battery's about to die. So yeah, where did I leave off? I think with Julian, just talking about Julian and how he's into a lot of different shit, a lot of crime. But there's an insert, which we leave off on Magnolia Parks, with Julian with a little anecdote about how Julian and Magnolia kind of like hit it off a little bit, and then they were swept off into a different part of London. I think they end up at Julian's house, and one thing leads to another. They're making out, but they don't go all the way because Magnolia starts crying. So that was mentioned at the end of Magnolia Parks, and a little piece in this novel about Julian and Magnolia, where they're just like talking about seeing her somewhere, and everybody still describes her as just like this ethereal creature, this most beautiful woman I've ever seen type of person. And he finds out that she's no longer with with BJ or with the other guy, and he's like, I'll treat her right, mate, I'll treat her right. So that might be why everybody's like, girl, just suck it up, get through this novel, because when you get to the long way home, you'll see why everybody likes Julian the best. Everyone loves the bad boy. Anyways, I like it, I guess. We shall see. So that's what's going on with Daisy Haites. I will add some more to it when I got some more to share. So as for some other things, we are also reading Don't Look at Me Like That by Diana Athill. I am really enjoying this book. This book is about Meg Bailey, a teenager who, let's read the back, but give me 1 second. So let's read the back of it. All right, so don't look at me like that. When I was at school, I used to think that everyone disliked me, and it wasn't far from the truth, confesses Meg Bailey at the start of Don't Look at Me Like That. So listen, that one sentence alone tells you that you are in for a ride. So Don't Look at Me Like That by Diana Athill was published in 1967, if I'm not mistaken. But the book takes place in the mid-40s in London. And this is a very peculiar girl. She's quirky. She's very in her head about a lot of things, and she's very funny. And she is self-aware. So it starts off, her dad is a pastor, basically. He's a clergyman, which is a pastor. And her mom is just a stay-at-home wife. She describes her upbringing as she's very critical of her mom in a way that she feels as though her mom would be more digestible if she was more into herself. She wanted her mom to be more into herself instead of of what society tells her that she should be. This meek wife who's very dull and plain. And she also describes herself as being, although she grew up in the church, she has recently come out as an atheist. She does not believe in God, and her father is ashamed of that, but he doesn't wear it on his sleeve as much. So she still partakes in communion just to be compliant, I guess. And her friends or the kids at school don't necessarily pick on her, but what they do say about her, what I found that was interesting was she describes them as saying that she was, hold on, let me find the word. I'm laughing because I don't know yet, because I have not looked up what people have to say about this book. But Meg is funny. Diana Athill had a really, really keen sense of humor. And this book is very sharp and very, very witty. This is what they said. Okay. School was hateful and humiliating because at the time I couldn't understand why they tagged conceited, superior, and affected onto my name. Being unable to see myself in the attitudes they forced me to assume. I felt hurt and frightened by their dislike and attributed it to to specific things which were not my fault, but of which I was ashamed, such as the woolen combination which I had to wear during my first term. So as you can already see, you know, she's very, I don't really have the right words to really say right now. I need to keep on reading it. I'm only on chapter 3. So that's just 23 pages into the book is where I'm at, where I've stopped. I started reading it today. And yeah, when I have more to come and tell y'all about Meg, I will, but just know I'm enjoying the book, the 23 pages of the book, because I really like reading characters, like I said, from when I was talking about the book I Can't Get Out of My Mind, which is Post-Traumatic by Chantel B. Johnson. I really, really like characters who are self-aware, who can compute and communicate all of the things around them so vividly. She is now traveled to like a little part of London on a train to meet with a friend. A friend has invited her to a dance, and so she's spending the weekend with her friend's family, and it's just her friend Rose and her mom, and her mom is very, very hard on Rose, and she is using Meg to kind of point out all of the flaws in her daughter, and Meg instantaneously rejects those notions because she doesn't like being used as a weapon against someone that she cares about. And so she's making these references, or we're reading her mind, we're reading her thoughts on how she feels about what Rose's mom is doing, and she's very uncomfortable. And she just wants to be with Rose and spend quality time with Rose. And she says it like there's a little phrase that she used that I really, really liked. And I underlined this because I really liked it. It stuck with me. She says, her name is not Rose. Her name is Roxanne. And it's just so good. When I really figure out what's going on with this book, I know it's going to be character driven for sure. I'm sure some things are going to happen. It's a very short novel, but I just know that how this is written, we're really getting a lot of the character, a lot of character study. Like there has been a vivid picture painted of this Roxanne's mom, Mrs. Weaver, vivid. In 3 pages, it just took for us to figure out what type of woman this is. 3 pages for us to figure out what type of girl Meg is. And also, in learning about Miss Weaver, Roxanne's mom, we're learning about the coping mechanisms that Roxanne has fixed or decided to use to like combat the issues that her mom has. But we also have such a self-aware and a surroundings aware person like Meg, who's able to point out these inconsistencies that Roxanne's mom is having as a parent. But my favorite thing is that Meg is not the type of person to dwell on being doted on. Like she doesn't hold any truths to the things that Mrs. Weaver is saying about her that could very well be affecting her daughter, Roxanne. So what Meg says is, the luxury of Roxanne's affection was greater than the luxury of the cushions on the bed and the bath salts in the black and white bathroom. I just really like that. Reading something like this alongside something as silly as Daisy Haites makes for just like two really good books to like just bounce off of. One, on the other hand, enjoying turning my brain off, but also I can't help but read books. Like I can't stay away from a book too long that I don't have to like consider a little bit more intimately and deeper. So that's how I know I enjoy more literary books, just a little bit more, actually a lot bit more than silly romances. So yeah, and then I also picked up today, I finished book 2 in the Farseer trilogy, Royal Assassin, and I decided that because of that ending, the ending of Assassin's Apprentice is just like, what? I screamed. I was just laying in the bed and I was like, oh my goodness, what? So I immediately went to my library and I got book 3, Assassin's Quest. And this one is really long. Okay, it is a mass market paperback, a newer mass market paperback, but girl, the last one this was like 150 pages longer than the last one. Jeez, hopefully it's not a drag, but I will tell you, I looked them up already. I looked up some spoiler-free reviews, and they do say that this is probably the weakest novel in the entire Realm of the Elderlings series. They said this is the weakest one. And I hate that it's the weakest one because it's so long. I would hope that the weakest one is the shortest one, which the shortest book that I read was the first one, Assassin's Apprentice. But anyway, I'm going to read it anyways because, girl, I have so many books on my list. Oh my God. But this is probably going to take me a minute because I really want to finish all of the Jessa Hastings books so I can take them back to the library. And I have all of them over here. And then, like I said before, I can't go to my public library without stopping and getting, or just looking at the used bookstore. So I have Under the Banner of Heaven by Jon Krakauer. I do plan on reading that really soon. I heard that it's really, really good. And I'm on like a nonfiction kick, but my nonfiction book that I'm reading right now is The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I have no notes on that book right now, but I saw this one and it sounded really interesting. It's called Missoula. Excuse me. It's called Missoula. Girl, I'm sorry. It's called Missoula. And as you can see, it says rape and the justice system in a college town. And I couldn't resist it because everybody knows that Jon Krakauer is an amazing author. His nonfiction is top tier. And this was very... when I saw rape and the justice system in a college town, that spoke to me. So I just picked it up and bought it. I didn't even care what it was about. So I read the synopsis. I read the blurb in my car after I had bought the book. So it says, acquaintance rape is a crime like no other. Unlike burglary or embezzlement or any other felony, the victim often comes under more suspicion than the alleged perpetrator. This is especially true if the victim is sexually active, if she had been drinking prior to the assault, and if the man she accuses plays on a popular sports team. This sounds like Know My Name by Chanel Miller. By Chanel Miller. I read Know My Name back in 2022. Sounds exactly the same. For a woman in this situation, the pain of being forced into sex against her will is only the beginning of her ordeal. If she decides to go to the police, undertrained officers sometimes ask if she has a boyfriend, implying that she is covering up infidelity. She is told rape is extremely difficult to prove and repeatedly asked if she really wants to press charges. If she does want to charge her assailant, district attorneys frequently refuse to prosecute. If the assailant is indicted, even though a victim's name is supposed to be kept confidential, rumors start in the community and on social media, labeling her a slut, unbalanced, unbalanced, and attention seeker. The vanishingly small but highly publicized incidents of false accusations are used to dismiss her claims in the press. If the case goes to trial, the woman's entire personal life often becomes fair game for the defense attorneys. This brutal reality goes a long way toward explaining why acquaintance rape is the most underreported crime in America. In addition to physical trauma, its victims often suffer devastating psychological damage that leads to feelings of shame, emotional paralysis, and stigmatization. PTSD rates for rape victims are estimated to be 50% higher than for soldiers returning from war. In the Missoula, Krakauer chronicles the searing experience of several women in Missoula, the nights when they were raped, their fear and self-doubt in the aftermath. See, whoa. Wowzers! I know this is going to be great. So yeah, this is day 1 of our Daisy Haites reading vlog, coupled with Don't Look at Me Like That. And I will be back to talk to you guys more after I read more, which I'm gonna go do right now. So yeah, what are y'all reading? What are y'all doing? Glad to see you here. If you have not like the video. If you have not subscribed to the channel. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Okay, I'm feeling better. I've been feeling really terrible lately, physically, not mentally, but yeah, I feel better. And we're gonna keep this thing going. Okay, I hear a train a coming. I don't know the rest, but I have to watch Don't Walk the Line to get the rest, or pull the song up. But it's like I hear a train a coming, something. Hold on, how does it go? Johnny Cash. Let's see. Johnny Cash. I hear a train a coming. It's called I Hear a Train. What is it called? It's called Folsom Prison Blues lyrics. I hear the train a coming. It's rolling round the bend. And I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps a rolling on down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy. Don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Anywho's, I first heard that song when I watched the Johnny Cash Don't Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon. If you've never seen that movie, you need to watch that movie, because I love that movie. I don't know what it is. It's a really great biopic, but also it's a really great romance, because it's a true romance. I think her name is like Jane Carter. What's her name? Is it Jane Carter? Jane Carter Cash? Nope. What is her name? What's Johnny Cash? Johnny Cash wife. What is her name? Reese did an amazing job in that too. What was her name? June. I was close. June. But anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and read some tonight, and I'll probably talk to you, and I'll probably to it. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Okay. It's another day for the reading vlog, and I've finished. I didn't mean to. This is a running theme, and if you hear anything, it is traffic noise, street noise, cars driving by on the pavement. I have my balcony door open because it's cold in my apartment and I want some fresh air. So anyway, we have finished Daisy Haites, book 2 in the Magnolia Parks universe, and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved the book. Okay, I didn't mean to not come and talk to y'all, but yesterday when I got home, I had a long day at work, and I was like, I'm just going to get in the bed and I'm going to read the book. And what reading the book turned into, I read that book all night. When I woke up this morning, I had just about 15 chapters left. They're very short chapters. It's like 70 something. It's like 75 chapters in the book. They're fairly short. So I woke up this morning, read some more, got ready for work, went to work. Work was pretty chill today. I actually got off about an hour and a half early. So when I first got to work, got settled, I finished the book, which is why you got that short that I made earlier today. I loved it. Oh my God. First of all, for anybody who has not read the second book in the Magnolia universe, Daisy Haites, leave the video now. Full spoilers are underway. Okay? Well, not really. I'm not gonna do a super duper tedious breakdown, but I will say this. I absolutely adore Christian now. Christian hymns. Gosh. I might have to close my door. I'm gonna close the door. Okay, that's better. Christian hymns has to be one of my favorite book toxic boyfriends, I guess, if you will. Now, here's the thing with Christian. Christian is 25 in this book. It doesn't explicitly state, but they do talk about age differences, when he met her, when he first seen her. And I also know that him and BJ are the same age, and they're 25, and Magnolia's like 23. So he's about 25 years old. And it's a perfect, that Jessa Hastings, if she didn't do anything else right, she did capture, to me personally, she captured the essence of a 20-year-old, a mid 20-year-old man who's never really fell in love before, who thought he was in love before but wasn't, and then he started to really find true love and build a relationship and not understand what that feeling was or what was going on. She did that immensely well to me. I mean, I don't know what the Jessa Hastings hate is all about, but we're not looking for a literary genius when we're picking up Magnolia Parks books. We're looking for mess, drama, soap opera, a thrilling, fun time full of engagement from these characters, and just wanting to know how this friend group is going to end up, wanting to know what's going to happen next, and that's what you get. I described this book in my short as like a true guilty pleasure, because with Daisy Haites you get rich socialite-ish. However, they're not socialites. They are rich, and they are in a crime family. Daisy Haites is from the crime family. Julian and Daisy are brother and sister. Their parents were murdered in front of them when she was 9 and Julian was 18. He took over at 18, became the boss of the crime family, top crime family in London, and he also had to become a father to his sister. Then you have Christian. Christian is also a part of a crime family, and the part that's interesting about Christian is his mom inherited the title. His mom inherited the family business, and him and his brother had to pick up where his parents are leaving off, and I just like that. So you get intrigue, you get murder, you get bar fights, you get all of the things associated with people who are in the mob, and it was just so well done to me. Okay, I think this one was more compulsively readable than Magnolia Parks. So anyways, what you get here is almost the same type of ending as Magnolia, where they do not end up together, but a resolution is reached as to what they are or what they mean to each other. So I did appreciate that, but the lead up or the build up to it was just so much better, because all the things that Daisy does in the meantime to kind of pacify herself, to bandage herself up, because she's thinking one way about Christian, and she's completely wrong, by the way, but she doesn't have time to figure him out. And I really enjoyed that aspect of their relationship. I enjoyed her being just the woman about town, a woman who understands what she needs above all else, a woman who knows based off of her past and what she had to deal with in her past, meaning attempts on her life, watching her parents get killed in front of her, she's able to kind of compartmentalize certain things and aspects and not dwell on them like Magnolia was doing. You know, there's no social light aspect to Daisy. Daisy's very smart, very witty, and she's also described as being extremely beautiful, but in more of a darker way, which I like. You know, if I could like the perfect actress that could play Daisy Haites if she were a bit younger and not involved in a bunch of drama in her own life would be Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis, but a little bit more prettier, is who I envision Daisy Haites possibly looks like. And that's a really pretty woman to me. I think Mila Kunis has this very dark, mysterious look to her, and she's very pretty. And that's kind of how Daisy's described in the book. So anyway, all in all, I have to say, Daisy Haites was a 5-star read. I don't even rate books. Daisy Haites was a 5-star. Daisy Haites was very interesting. You get the same drama. You get the same toxicity. You don't know what's going to happen next. You have a love triangle, of course. You have Romeo, Christian, and Daisy. And then she also throws in the hot cop, Tiller. Tiller is described as looking like Paul Walker. May he rest in peace. Perfect kind of just character to like throw into the mix as well, because you're gonna want to know what's gonna happen to them in their little aspect, because there's a little flirtation with Tiller and Daisy, Declan and Daisy, Christian and Daisy, everybody in Daisy. So I really like that. So of course I have The Long Walk Home. This is the next book in the series. That's Magnolia's book. And then we have The Great Undoing, which is the next book in Daisy's little series. And then I think we sum it all up in Magnolia, Into the Dark. So I'm excited. This one's kind of long. Anyway, Honey Baby Sugar Child. Loved it. I just did a ton of talking, but didn't talk about much, which is kind of where I want to lean towards. But this book made me feel things in a more different way than Magnolia Parks. It made me feel a little bit more seen. I'm kind of like Daisy in a lot of ways. You would have to read the book to see what I'm talking about. But I've taken my life into my own hands. I did it a long time ago. When I was 26 years old, I realized that my life wasn't going how I wanted to go, and I completely uprooted me and my daughter, and I have been on a journey ever since, and I have reinvented myself so many different times. And that is kind of reminiscent of how Daisy Haites ends, where she's having to do something like that because she is just sick and tired. She's fed up. She wants something different, and she's trying to move on. But the great undoing aspect of her book, I think, is going to show us that some things she just won't be able to leave behind. And that is true. That can be true for lots of women. But she's still going to be in charge. She's still going to be in charge. I think that's really why I like Daisy Haites so much. Daisy is a very bossy bitch. And I like that because so am I. And she took the wheel and she's in charge. And Jessa Hastings did a good job. Remember, when you're reading Magnolia books, Jessa Hastings books, there's no spice. There's just tense moments, drama, uncertainty. But this was plot driven. Julian, I cannot wait to see who Julian is in the next book. You're going to really like Julian if you read this. He's going to do some things that'll piss you off at the end, but then you also start to realize he's losing himself as well. And so when you're losing yourself, you start to do things that you normally wouldn't do. And it takes the people in your life to kind of bring you back to reality a little bit. And that's what Daisy was trying to do for him. But she also had to remove herself from the situation because it just became too much for her. But yeah, I like it. all in all, I really like Christian and Daisy's relationship far better than BJ and Magnolia. It just hits differently. I don't know if they're two, because they come from bad families or whatever, what have you, crime families. I don't know what it is, but I just like their relationship better. It was more sweet. It was more wholesome. I was more into it. Oh my gosh. The date that Christian plans midway through the book, so heartwarming, so sweet, so it was just so perfect for Daisy and what she needed. And that goes to show that Christian's the type of man that pays attention to the small things. And I just loved it. Oh my gosh, am I turning into a romance girl? No. I might be a little bit, but it has to be books like this. I still don't want to read sex scenes. It has to be books like this. Jessa Hastings for the win. Yeah. So anyway, Daisy Haites took over, but I also read a lot of Don't Look at Me Like That yesterday, but I didn't put a huge dent in it. I mean, I'm on page 63 and it's 190 ish pages, so I won't be finishing this book for the vlog, but just know it's really a really interesting read, and I'll probably talk about it in its own video or in the next video, what have you, who knows. But I'm going to finish this book tonight. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This vlog is going up on Saturday, so I still have one more day. So if I finish this book by the time I'm ready to edit this video, then I'll upload it or add this to the conversation and then upload it, or I'll just save it for another time. Who knows? But yeah, I love Daisy Haites and I highly recommend it. So if this is it, I'll go ahead and wrap up this video and say thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next upload. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and yeah, deuces.